what would your advice for gaining and maintaining muscle mass in menopause and beyond? So that very specific time period. Get a lot of questions about that.
Yeah. So menopause is that one day on the calendar that marks 12 months of no menstrual cycle. And it's the 5 to 6 years before that point where we start to see all these body composition changes. Mm-hmm. So with the eye to menopause and beyond about putting lean mass, it actually starts before that one point in time. Mm-hmm. Because when we start having perturbations in our estrogen and progesterone, we start having changes in muscle integrity and the nervous system responses for muscle contraction. So we have to look at eating more protein, backing up our lifting with protein. And I know endurance athletes are like, what? No, what? And we need to drop the volume that we're doing and increase our intensity because we're looking at changing the training stress to create a stress that the body adapts to how hormones used to allow our bodies to adapt. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is like estrogen is directly linked to myosin. There's a lot of estrogen receptor sites in myosin, mm-hmm. which is one of the contractile proteins in our muscle contraction. So when estrogen starts to go down, there's a desensitization of that and less of a response. So myosin isn't as strong and robust. Mm-hmm. If we do heavy lifting, then the nerve comes down, it tries to recruit a whole bunch of fibers to overcome that load. So myosin gets the signal, hey, you can't be lazy, you actually have to work and we have to regenerate. Mm-hmm. So it's looking at what are those kind of stressors. If you've missed the mark and now you're menopause, post-menopause, it's not too late to do that. Okay. Because we still are looking for those external stressors to supply that response that our body wants, especially in light of the fact that we are desensitized to estrogen. Yep. So it's lifting heavy, it's dropping volume, it's maintaining intensity. And note that after you hit menopause and you don't have the perturbations of our hormones, you're really, 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 really good at going long and slow. So we need to do things that will boost you so you don't fall into the long and slow, getting slower stance.
Yep. You kind of answered the next question, but the next question was that postmenopausal plateau in weight loss and muscle growth. And so would you say, I'm gathering from your answer, your suggestions to overcome that would be avoiding kind of that long and slow.
So we get into that whole, endurance athletes in particular get into that moderate intensity, the let's go for 2 to 4 hours, everyone's favorite, right?
Guilty.
And it's just not good because cortisol comes up. Mm-hmm. Baseline cortisol is up. There's a signal to break down lean mass because the body's like, I need some protein. And here's this very active tissue that's taking a lot of energy. So you break it down and you're not getting that strong stress to actually get protein muscle synthesis and increasing that central nervous system response. Mm-hmm. So this is where, when I'm working with a lot of endurance athletes who are hitting perimenopause and beyond, they're like, you want me to do HIIT work and not endurance? I'm like, I know endurance. I come from that background, like Ironman, rowing, bike racing, all that kind of stuff. But your body needs to become resilient and strong before you can actually put in the work. So let's get you strong. Mm-hmm. Let's work that high intensity so we maintain power and speed. Mm-hmm. And then the complement to that is some endurance. It's not the bread and butter.